Hey there folks, Rel here. Today we're going to be running down the most useful certs for people interested in developing their light assault class from the ground up without wasting those certs on anything that is extremely situational or that takes an extended knowledge of the class to use correctly. So this is essentially going to be a guide on how to make the light assault class very effective very quickly. The purpose of the light assault class is to circumvent enemy defenses and essentially be in the mess of battle before anyone else. Remember that these are my opinions regarding the class, and I highly encourage people to experiment and unlock as much as you can later on. But for the purposes of this early game guide, we're first going to be putting a point into flak armor. A single point into flak armor will make it so you don't die to landmines or claymores as long as you have full HP and shields. And this will even help us a little bit when we unlock C4 later on. A single point into nano weave is a good option as well. Usually it's enough of a boost that will mean the enemy needs to put another bullet on you to take you down, and it doesn't really sound like a lot, but you'd be surprised how helpful it is. So that's a single cert, not a big deal. The next thing we want to do is dump 30 certs into a good scope for our weapon. So like I said, medium to close range is where it's at. The night vision scope is probably the best of the bunch because it just has so many uses. It can detect invisible enemies, and it will highlight mines and enemies that you wouldn't have otherwise seen. But if you're not really digging the night vision scope, then go for the 2x scope or even the alternate 1x option. So after we have a scope, the next thing we want to do is put another rank into our jetpack ability. It's just 10 certs and it does add a considerable boost. Now at this point we actually have to start saving up a bit, so you have the raw basics that will make you more survivable and effective. So it's a pretty good place to relax before the class starts really taking shape. Up until this point we haven't put anything in the utility slot, and that's what we're going to do now. We want to take C4, and a lot of people argue that C4 is the light assault's team utility, you know, the thing that kind of makes them stand out and be special. And even though I don't particularly agree with that, I can't really deny how useful it is. Your first stick of C4 is a little more than a helpful toy, but 2 sticks of C4 can drop a Sunderer to about 5% HP if you place it on the back doors, and from there it's going to burn and die if no one repairs it. You can also kill enemy lightnings, maxes, turrets, and you really bump up your effectiveness overall. That first stick is going to cost you 200 certs, and the second is going to cost you 500. Now, this is obviously a really big jump. The smartest thing to do is to pick up the first and second sticks of C4 as soon as you can, but patience has never really been my strong suit. I just really hate saving up for things. And if you have the same problem, then there are some other things that you can work on while you put this off. The first thing I'd suggest is to grab a laser sight or an advanced laser sight for your weapon, because better hip fire means better close quarters combat and survivability. But if you don't want a laser sight, then consider putting points into jump jets or flak armor. If you're really itching to buy a new weapon, pick one that fires fast and excels in close to medium range. So the Vanu are going to be looking at the VX6 TAC-7 or the Serpent. The TR can get the LC2 Lynx or the LC3 Jaguar, and the NC can pull the GD TAC-7F, but the AF TAC-19 Mercenary is already outstanding as it is. Now the other really popular option is to grab your faction's select fire variant of the starting rifle and then fit it with an underbarrel grenade launcher, that's the most popular one for sure, or an underbarrel shotgun, and then you go to work. And this absolutely will help you wreak havoc on the battlefield. And don't get me wrong, the starting weapons are very good. New weapons are usually just side grades that detract from the pain of grinding certs. But I wanted to give you a short list of things you should probably stay away from until you have a good handle on the class. So drifter jump jets is at the top of my list. I love them, but they are very situational. You really have to know how to use them. Flash grenades, mostly because they're bugged right now. I mean, they don't give you hit markers, they're just really difficult to use. Underbarrel smoke grenades they're useful, but the alternative is just more damaging, and it's really more potent unless you set yourself up to use smoke grenades specifically. And regular smoke grenades, I wouldn't suggest them either, just because of you do have to know how to place them, and they're not going to help you just with that general effectiveness. The shotguns I'd stay away from just because you do have to be very close range. Or if you're using slug ammunition, it's you lose your hip fire essentially, and you become a sniper. So either way, you're going to be building in a certain direction, either that very short range or the very far range, and then you're gonna have to focus on different strategies, and that's not what we're doing here, like I said. And then soft point ammunition. That's really, it sounds good on paper, but it just, if you look at the stats, it doesn't help you as much as it should. Really, it'll actually detract from things later on past that 15 meter mark, and it's just really not good all around. Stay away from it. I use it sometimes just for kicks, but really you're more effective overall without it. Now, it's not that these things aren't useful, it's just that they are very situational, or they require a high level of skill to be effective. And like I mentioned repeatedly, that is not the point of this commentary. We're trying to make you very effective very quickly. So one last thing that I want to mention as far as useful certs go is you should probably consider outfitting one of your flash ATVs with a turbo boost, and then put points on the acquisition timer as well, and maybe acquisition timer on the on your Empire specific fighter, because those two things are going to be your transportation. They're going to get you into the combat very quickly, and it's always a good idea to have them, have that option there. Turbo boosts specifically are they're very effective on the light assault class, because you can jetpack. So if you ramp over a hill and then your flash decides to start doing barrel rolls and whatever else, you can bail out before it flips over and gets you killed. So I think that is about it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This is probably going to be controversial because people have their own play styles, and they do things a lot differently. And I can't tell you how many people have they've complained about, either buying a weapon or buying an upgrade that just isn't something that they thought it was. So, like I said, that was the purpose of this. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully you like it. So until next time, folks, Rel signing off.